So how old must you be to have a boob job in the UK? The answer is only 16.
Yeah, there you go. Believe it or not, a 16-year-old girl can have breast implants as long as they have permission from a parent or guardian. Without permission, the minimum age is 18. But first, I push back in, apologies. Are boob jobs a bad idea, and would you put your health on the line for a bigger chest? 26,000 women a year in the UK have their breasts enlarged, and 3/4 apparently run the risk of dodgy stitching, leakage, and a wonky final product. But why take the risk? GQ columnist Tony Parsons can't work out why anyone would take that risk. He says women who've had boob jobs have ruined themselves, and it's no fun having sex with a surgically enhanced woman. If you see someone with a particularly large chest, do you stop thinking how great they look and just think that they're a fake? Is a boob job a great idea to make you feel better about yourself? Or is anyone who's had their breasts made larger weird, vulgar and disfigured? If you're thinking of having a boob job, we want to hear from you. Why did you do it? Has it improved your self-image or self-worth? Let's hope it wasn't to attract a man, because even though 3/4 of men say they size up a woman's boobs when deciding if they fancy them, half of them actually prefer women of medium size, saying huge bazookas are just the stuff of fantasy. So, are boob jobs just a bad idea? Nikki, you've been dying to get to this topic. Tell me what your view is, please.
Well, I think, you know, unfortunately, people who have the very enlarged boobs or go for boob jobs on the cheap give it a really bad reputation. But there are a lot of people out there who maybe they've post-children, have lost all the volume in their breasts and literally have the whole droop syndrome or empty sacs, which, you know, really impacts their confidence. It impacts their relationship. Their husband doesn't find them sexy. And by putting the volume back in their breasts through a boob job has really restored their self-esteem. And so I think a lot of people just have quite normal boob jobs, and so you wouldn't actually know they'd have a boob job. They just have a really nice shaped boob. Whereas people like Jordan that have the really standard engorged boobs, that immediately comes to mind when you think of a boob job, which gives it a bad rep.
So for a lot of people, it's a good thing, it's a fine thing to do. I hadn't realised that it was such a big operation. It's a general anaesthetic.
Absolutely, any surgery is a general anaesthetic, and so you should always really consider the risks. And the minute you go under an anaesthetic, you are putting your life at risk.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are some fantastic surgeons out there, and if something's really getting you down to such an extent, you don't want to wear a costume on the beach, you don't want to be naked in front of your husband, it's impacting your relationship, then actually getting it fixed can really transform your life.
OK, there we go. Craig, do you agree with that?
I do, actually, and I remember seeing, I think it was last week, Nikki, that amazing programme that you did with that woman who had boobs literally below her waist.
Hanging out the bottom of a T-shirt.
It was disgusting. Now, for that poor woman, I would have said surgery, definitely. And, I mean, how she ended up was absolutely extraordinary. I mean, what that programme
so Nikki,
did for her
it's a woman whose boobs naturally...
She'd lost an extreme amount of weight, and then it lost all the volume in her breasts. As they literally...
They were
left
down
skin, so left too much
just
skin.
had all the skin, and literally the nipples hung out the bottom of her T-shirt. I'm not kidding.
No, it was disgusting. She used to go to bed with her pyjamas and her tits either side. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
boobs either side of her armpits. And she said it was wonderful just lying in hospital, going and being able to rest her arms beside... I mean, so for people that are extreme like that, or women, you know, like my sister, who have big, old, you know, whatever those big double G things are.
So it will give you backache and it will affect your posture.
Reductions, I think, are just as dangerous, probably, but, you know, sometimes essential.
OK, thank you, Craig.
Follow that!
I know, this is hard for you,
This is a man who's probably never felt a breast.
Well, actually, I was married.
Oh,
for 4 years.
It's all coming out. Read the book.
Yeah, read the book. So I have felt one or two, and I did work at the Lido de Paris in Paris, and that's all topless, so for the women.
Wow.
Okay, there we go.
Well, clearly, it's a difference between need and fashion, isn't it? Clearly, there are some women who need it, and quite right too, and all the rest of it. But I think there is this fashion that somebody somewhere along the line got the idea that these engorged breasts look good. And it's fascinating to hear that most men don't like that look at all.
There's some breasts on the screen, by the way, if I'm listening to those.
Who isn't it?
Yeah, but
Josie
some
Marsh get a
people
magazine
do.
to pay for her breasts.
But some men do like that. They like blow-up dolls. They like that sort of thing.
Well, do they,
You know,
though?
they look at pornography and think, oh, that's great. Yeah, I want to, you know,
They don't
feel
want it
a
in
bit
their
of
own
that.
women, though, by the sound of it, do they? They want to...
No, they don't want them to be, I think, their wives or give birth to their babies, but, you know, as a sort of play tool, I suppose it's probably rather nice.
Yeah, I think what Tony Parsons' point was quite an interesting point, which is that you know, they look fine, but the reality of fondling, kissing, touching them is really quite unpleasant because they're so pert and tend to point skywards, which is not natural.
Yeah,
It
I mean, I
depends.
don't know. The only person who can really comment on this is you, I think.
What, hey?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Why?
Mr. Heterosexual Man.
Oh, there we are. I see. Okay. So I thought you meant I dated somebody with fake breasts, which I haven't.
Have you or not?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. No, I don't. I mean, having never felt a pair of fake breasts, Anne, I'm afraid I don't actually have a particular opinion on them.
Well, it depends if they're put under the muscle or whether they're put under the skin.
And
it
the type of
depends
so
how
many different
flat
types
you
of
are to
implant.
begin with. If you're an
Absolutely.
A cup, for instance, or
Yeah.
whatever, flat as a pancake like most ballerinas,
Yeah.
for instance, then you're going to
give you a
notice the crease and it's going to be rather obvious and the fingerprints stay in there, don't they?
Okay, let's go to a caller. Amy, who've you got?
Our first caller had a boob job last Tuesday. It's Stacey on line 3.